The movie opens in 1943 in an old workshop where dollmaker Samuel Mullins is giving his finishing touch on a porcelain doll created by him. It is claimed to be part of a limited edition consisting of only 100 dolls. His daughter Annabelle, or simply B, leaves a note beneath the door to his workshop that reads, "Find me," as her dad works on the dolls. He finds a second note that says, "Near," when he returns to the residence. After putting the letter on the escritoire and writing, "Found you," on the back, Mr. Mullins leaves the room after noticing movement behind the curtains. As soon as B emerges from hiding, her mother and father proceed to tickle her. They are a happy family of 3. One fine day, as they are traveling back from the church, one of the tires punctures, so they stop to change it. 7-year-old B, who was looking for ways to help, notices a screw. In the attempt, she takes the screw that rolled out onto the road, but just as she reaches for it, a passing vehicle strikes and seriously injures her. Her mother and father rush to her, but the deadly damage has already been done. It is 1955, 12 years after their unfortunate event. A group of orphan girls from a closed Catholic institution are welcomed into the Mullins home, 12 years after they first opened it up for other people. 2 of the girls, best friends Linda and Janice, swear that the adoptive parents must decide whether to adopt both of them or neither of them. Mr. Mullins welcomes the girls and their sister Charlotte as they arrive. He informs them that Esther, his wife, has become bedridden. He gives a demonstration of the stairlift he constructed for Mrs. Mullins when she lost her physical ability. Janice, who had polio and is now largely immobile, is permitted to use the stairlift. After being granted a bed to sleep on the second level, she walks to B's old room, which is locked. Janice is informed by Mr. Mullins that nobody is permitted to enter that room. Janice discovers a message that reads, "Find me," after being awakened by a disturbance one night. She then enters B's room and discovers that the door is now unlocked. She asks God to pardon her for the sin she is about to commit before entering. Inside, she finds a doll's house and discovers the key to the closet. She then opens it and finds a doll inside it. The following day, Janice visits her sister Charlotte to apologize for breaking into B's room and to share her discovery of a doll in the closet. After discussing it with her, Charlotte eventually assures her that her transgressions have been forgotten and instructs her to unpack 3 boxes as an act of penance. Janice then enters the room that leads to Mrs. Mullins' room, where she overhears a conversation between Charlotte and Mrs. Mullins, in which Mrs. Mullins informs Charlotte of B's passing. However, Charlotte responds that B is waiting for them in heaven, to which Mrs. Mullins then says that she wishes it were true. Janice discovers a photo of B and the doll she discovered in the closet the night before when returning. The house begins to experience paranormal activity in the middle of the night. Although nobody is in the room, B's phonograph starts to play. When Janice enters to look around, she finds Linda there as well and informs her that she is not meant to be there. Janice and Linda should leave before each other. Linda responds. Then she sees someone who resembles Annabelle inside the space. When Janice asks if she needs anything, B turns around and responds with, "Your soul," revealing herself to be a demon who has assumed B's form. Attempting to flee in the stairlift, Janice is hoisted up and then lowered to the ground by the creature after the stairlift stops midway. Janice is totally unable to walk due to the injuries she suffered. Charlotte responds that the devil feeds on the weak, and that Janice is just as strong as the rest when she hears from Janice about her meeting with the demonic force. Janice is restricted to a wheelchair as she exits the vehicle with the other passengers. After pushing Janice into the shed outside and smashing the wheelchair, a demonic creature assuming Charlotte's body then enters the house. The devil succeeds in enslaving Janice after being unable to flee. Linda is alarmed by this, because she has changed in attitude and behavior. Mr. Mullins is then informed by Linda that Janice did enter B's room without permission. Janice then enters the dining room, where she discovers Mr. Mullins transforms into a demon and slaughters him after gaining the ability to walk through demonic possession. Linda goes into Janice's room one night and steals the doll. Then she heads to a well in the fields near the Mullins house with the intention of throwing it in. Linda is instructed to return home by Charlotte, who then shows up. However, Linda goes back to the well and Janice tries to pull her down. Charlotte then saves Linda, and they both quickly run back to the home after Charlotte has closed the well. The doll is lying on the couch when Linda tries to notify Janice that it has been taken away. Charlotte takes the doll and walks into Mrs. Mullins' room after asking the other girls to look for Janice. Mrs. Mullins orders Charlotte to keep the doll at a safe distance. Mrs. Mullins claims that, following Annabelle's passing, they prayed to any strong being who would provide them the chance to see their daughter once more. She claims that it started out modestly, with only sounds emanating from B's room. Then it requested to move into the doll so that it may live with them forever. When they replied affirmatively, B's presence grew and took on a distinct shape as well. The relief of life returning to the house, however, was short-lived as they came to the realization that the thing was not their daughter, but rather a demon that was using her shape and was attempting to seize a soul. One day, the devil assaulted Mrs. Mullins and tore out her right eye while attempting to take her soul. They wallpapered the closet of B's room with pages from the Bible to surround the evil with God's word in order to contain it. The doll was then placed inside the closet. The area was then sprinkled with holy water, and Mr. Mullins closed the door after the priest made the sign of the cross in front of the doll. They chose to let the orphans into their home as penance, but they now regret that decision because it allowed the demon to seize a soul. The girls assure Janice that it is only the two of them when they catch her having a tea party with the doll. They are subsequently instructed to stop sinning by Janice, holding a knife. As they sprint down the stairs, Charlotte can hear the girl yelling, and Nancy demonstrates to Charlotte how Janice sliced her arm. Carol is told by Charlotte to seek assistance, and the girls are told to keep together. After calling, they go into the Mullins' bedroom and find Mrs. Mullins crucified and in two pieces. As soon as Janice shows up, Charlotte informs the girls that they will be going. When Charlotte attempts to exorcise Janice, while holding a crucifix necklace, she is picked up off the floor and slammed into a mirror. They flee from the bedroom in horror, but as Linda tries to flee, she trips and is dragged over the floor. Janice tries to hand Kate her knife and claims she can help her, while the girls urge her to seek assistance. Linda then hides in an empty room as Kate leaves. When the remaining girls arrive at Mullins' vehicle, they discover that it won't start. The scarecrow can be seen appearing to move as well. Linda tries to flee using a cargo lift, as Janice tries to access the room where she is hiding. The rest of the girls arrive in the barn. The other girls see the scarecrow inside as Carol enters, but the door abruptly closes by itself before either of them can try to open it. As a demon emerges to control the scarecrow, two lights come loose and fall to the ground. The third one is reinstalled into the lamp by Carol, before she hears a bell ring. The bulb is then broken by a demon's hand, who torments Carol as she flees inside the workshop. When Linda hears Janice attempting to enter the room, she tries to leave via the goods elevator. She enters a chamber in the basement and finds a girl's body there. The demon tries to stop Linda from leaving through the elevator, as the body, which turns out to be Janice, starts moving in her direction. As a result, Linda is forced to climb the remaining shaft heights. As she sees Janice stabbing the face of her doll, Sweet Sue, she tells her that it looks like her, and she finds the door open and exit. Linda flees into B's room's closet out of fear. Linda tries to flee, but is detained and informed that those who break a swear go straight to hell when Janice eventually finds her. Having recovered her composure following her botched exorcism, Charlotte makes an appearance with the infected doll. To hurt Charlotte, Janice tries to stab the doll Charlotte is holding as a barrier. She then pushes Charlotte and the doll into the closet and tips a glass door in front of them. Then, when Linda and Charlotte escape the house, a number of ghostly occurrences start to take place, including furniture and toys being flung around in B's room, and lights flickering. The light bulbs on the exterior lighting start exploding as they meet up with the remaining girls outside. As the sheriff comes, police sirens can be heard in the background. The doll is discovered by the sheriff, but Janice has already fled through a hole. The priest then blesses the house and says that the evil is no longer there. The doll was a conduit for the evil, but now it is simply a doll. The priest responds when the girls inquire about it, before inquiring as to whether anyone is interested. The sheriff takes it with him because none of them take it. The priest, the girls, and Sister Charlotte then depart. Janice, who is still possessed and has isolated herself, is transferred to an orphanage in Santa Monica in the interim. There, Janice is adopted by Pete and Sharon Higgins. She now goes by the name Annabelle. Then, 12 years after the events at Mullins' estate, a photo of the Higgins and their recently adopted Annabelle is displayed, alongside a series of images from 1967 depicting her as a young adult, a teen, and an adult. As a woman in the mirror image of Annabelle as an adult appears, a creaking sound can be heard in the distance. With the sounds, Sharon is awakened. Instructing Sharon to contact the police, Pete departs to investigate. Pete is then attacked by Annabelle, who is a member of a satanic sect, along with her partner. In order to set the atmosphere for the events of the next film, Annabelle, Mia, their neighbor, witnesses Annabelle greeting Sharon before her boyfriend assaults and murders Sharon. In a post-credit shot from the Carta Monastery in Romania, 1952, Valak, the devil nun, is seen strolling through a hall, lit by lights that go out as it passes by, just before the camera fades to black.